I appreciate Beach Ridge taking care of helping us with the coaches' meals. Also, thanks to Played Against Sports and Rawlings Easton for sponsoring end of the year stuff. And we're glad to see Jeff and Brock here. And Brock, I owe an apology. I ordered shoes from you like 6 months ago and remembered it on Saturday. But I did get them.
All right.
But as we have every day since, every leadoff club, tip-off club, quarterback club, we start off kind of with some notes about Art Haynes. And Coach Rowe, I know you've been in constant contact and keeping me updated, but what's the latest on Art?
Well, I hadn't heard since 2 weeks ago when our women played at University of Nebraska in the NIT. I was just shocked to know he was going to be able to be there. The coach and some of the players going over to see him, but for them to use their equipment and everything to haul him over, and then of course one of his favorite nurses, she made sure she got to go, which was great, and the doctor went also. But hearing him interviewed on the radio, I just thought he was analyzing the game that he had been doing color on that game. So that part is all continues to come back. I'm going to contact Chris once a week to make sure anything other than what I've heard already, and he's there today. I sent him a note last night, and he just sent one this morning. It's not, I'll just read it. It says, Coach, he seemed fairly similar to the last time I was here. So I knew he was in Lincoln. I did see him wipe something off his chin, which was good to see. And they say he sat and held his balance for over 11 minutes last week, which was his longest ever. I will watch his rehab session today and see how he does in comparison to a few weeks ago. But when I know when I was there, the right arm is just like, it never moves. It's just on the armrest, and this one was bent downward. But slowly, it'll come around to where he can at least touch once in a while. And for him to do that, that's a miraculous deal. He's not going to up. When you think you can't feed yourself, you can't blow your nose, you can't brush your teeth, you can't go to the bathroom without help. And this has been about 6 months. His attitude is great. I would be in the tank, totally blown up probably if those things had happened. But he's really kept that, and it's almost like it's going from here downward, because when we were with him out here, the week before he left, he never moved, never said a word, eyes closed. And I was talking to him, just maybe he'd recognize something, and it's continually going down. I think the trach is going to be finalized, closed. Then he will need respiratory therapy. Then I think he will come back to Springfield to be the therapy they have here for the physical and vocational things that he needs to do. That's one of the up-to-date. I appreciate everybody always thinking about him, and it's going to get better.
Continue thoughts and prayers, and Art, if you're watching, we're all thinking about you. I will now turn it over to my good friend Corey Riggs, and he will introduce the coaches, and we'll go on.
Thank you, Guy, and thanks, Coach Rowe, for that update. I say the folks of the Missouri Valley Conference men's basketball tournament at Arch Madness had these bracelets in the media room that have the hashtag prayers for Art Haynes. And let's say a couple of the folks were nice enough to bring one of those back for me, and I wear it every day and think about the man every day. And I can't wait for the time when he is back here and back on the microphone where he belongs. But until he gets back, we'll try and make our way through this. I was watching Colin Bears baseball in Arch Place this weekend. Got to see former Springfield Catholic stand out, get his start in left field. So there's no more logical place to start then, but we'll let Coach Spitz lead off for us and tell us about a couple of wins for Catholic Art.
Sure. You guys, I appreciate you having us, putting this together. Thanks for Play the Game and our sponsors. We are 2-0 right now at Springfield Catholic. It's been good to get 2 games under our belt. We could potentially have played 6, but weather has not allowed us to get there. So we were supposed to open up at Lee Summit on March, 19th, I believe March 18th. Didn't happen due to just drastically freezing temps. So we lost our first 2 games, a doubleheader up there. And then we come back and we're playing Nixa on March 21st, and another terrible day for baseball. I owe Coach Hughes a steak dinner for getting out there and playing against us because he had already had a couple games under his belt, and our guys were just itching to play. I think a lot of the coaches in this room are in the same boat when you're just pushed back and canceled, your players just get so antsy and practices just become redundant. So I told them, I said, we want to play today. It's going to be nasty, but we want to play. And so they hooked it up with us, and it was a pitcher's duel. For us, it was Ben Smith to start on the mound. He's our number one, and then we followed it up with our number 2, Coleman Morrison, and then our number 3, Cole Shane. Jack Smith got in there before Cole Shane, and Jack Smith is a freshman. He's Ben Smith's younger brother. So we ended up running out 4 arms: Ben Smith, Coleman Morrison, Jack Smith, and then Cole Shane. Cole Shane's a junior. And those 4 arms threw really well. They threw strikes. And a day where it's a non-hitting environment and a tough day to play, you got to pound the strike zone. So our guys did that. And Nixa did it really well too. It was a 2-hit performance for both teams, so a total of 4 hits in the game. We were able to scratch off 1 more run and claim the victory 2-1. I was really impressed with Nixa. Jackson Gamble, a young sophomore arm. He's going to be a really talented kid. He's doing really, really well. So that was our first game of the year, and our guys were excited, get out there and get a win. And then we were supposed to have Father Tolton, a rematch of the Class 3 state championship down this weekend. We did not get them on Friday. We were supposed to play DeSmet, Class 6 team, on Saturday. We were not able to get them either. More so travel arrangements there. We did end up going over to US Ballpark on Saturday afternoon at 4:30 and then playing a talented Class 14 Blair Oaks. They got a senior left-handed pitcher that's about 92 to 95. He's going to Mizzou. His name's Will Libbert. Thankfully, we did not see him. If we would have saw him, I might have led with that opening statement. But we were able to scratch off a win there, 6-5. Kind of the same deal for us. We ran out 2 or 3 arms. Coleman Morrison got to start this time. He threw okay. He pounded the zone at times, and then got a little laxed at times there. And after 1 inning, it was 4-1 us. After 2 innings, it was 4-4. And I think both teams kind of settled in a little bit. And we took the lead 5-4. They tied it up 5-5, and then we finally took the lead 6-5, and we were able to close it out. So a good start for us of the year, getting 2 games under our belt, getting 2 wins. Kids are feeling pretty confident. This week's a light week for us. We were supposed to play Springdale High School out of Springdale, Arkansas, at their place. It was supposed to be scheduled on Friday. I'm in the process of moving that up to Thursday because Friday's storms everywhere. So we'll hopefully go down there on Thursday and then play it. I know they'll be real good. Their head coach, Tim Carver, I played with in the Midwest Nationals organization when we were in high school together. He ended up playing at the University of Arkansas and had an excellent career there. So I know he's a great coach and a good friend of mine. And so we'll hook it up against each other. He was at Mountain Home and we did that last year, but now he's at Springfield, so we'll do that. We're excited to go down there and play an out-of-town team, get a good look against some good athletes. It's always nice to play the Arkansas schools, the Oklahoma schools, things like that. So we're looking to add more games. We're in the process. We've lost 4 total. I think a lot of us are in the same boat as far as that number. But yeah, off to a good start. Going good. I appreciate you guys.
What's your district situation?
Well, we got one of the nicer districts in town. It's us and Logan, Rogersville, Hollister, Ava, Willow Springs, and Mountain Grove. And so, unfortunately, we're in the same district with Hollister and Logan, Rogersville. Hollister is always a competitive school, but I mean, on paper, you look at us and Logan, Rogersville this year, and you have probably 4 to 5 of the most talented arms in Southwest Missouri, especially at the Class 4 level. And that could be, a pretty big and looming matchup on our schedule this year. So, obviously when that game comes down, it's got not only conference implications, but district implications. We were hoping to avoid that situation. I was hoping to go up north with Eldon, Osage, Buffalo, Versailles, California, like our basketball team did, but that didn't work out. So we'll run our best out there. I know they'll run their best out there. Last man standing wins, I guess. So that's where we're at. Yep. Appreciate you guys.
Well, it sounds like everybody's got scheduling problems this time of year, so we'll find out what Nixa's schedule looks like from Coach Hughes.
Yeah, thanks for having us out. We've been fortunate enough to get 4 games in so far. Getting to play on some turf helps over at US Ballpark. We opened up with Verdigris, Oklahoma. Good team from Oklahoma. A lot of tradition. I think they've won 7 out of the last 11 state championships over there in Oklahoma. And very well coached team. We came out, played well that night, pitched it really well. Number one, Ethan Taylor was really good that night. He's a transfer from Idaho, came down from Idaho, and then turned around and played Greenbrier, Arkansas, another very well coached team. Didn't swing it as well that night, but played really good defense. And Colin Kelly pitched that game, or sophomore, pitched really well for us. So, and then played Catholic in a very, very good baseball game. Two very talented rosters, and both of us, we swung it pretty well. Had a lot of opportunities. Both teams did, and pitchers made good pitches and played good defense when we had to. Felt like a playoff game, honestly, with two really good arms on the mound, trying to scratch wind or runs across. We failed to execute a couple bunts, which hurt us, and made some defensive mistakes. They took advantage of a wild pitch, and probably not one they should have scored on, and then went 5 feet out in front of the plate. But there, Smith got a great read on it and beat our pitcher to the plate. So, and then we picked up with Webb City this past Saturday. I went over there and played Webb. We were supposed to play CBC and Marquette, but it all got rained out down here. So we ended up picking up with Webb on Saturday and pitched it really well again, and started to swing the bats a little bit. I think we had 14 or 15 hits this weekend. We start 2 seniors and 2 sophomores right now on the mound. We've done a really good job. We've given up 8 runs in our 4 games. So we've pitched it a lot better. We didn't know what we were going to expect on the mound yet. Losing 26 wins on the mound from last year. We weren't sure how that was going to go early on, but our guys have worked really hard. We've got one of the best coaches I've ever known, and Coach Hag working with our pitchers. So when you got Byron Hagler working with our pitchers, you're probably going to be pretty good on the mound. And, he's been really good for our guys. And so we've done some good things. We got a good mix of younger kids. We got 2 really talented sophomores starting for us. Wyatt Vincent in center, who's leading off, and then Caden Clouds playing shortstop as a sophomore, batting 3-hole right now. And we got a good mix of juniors and seniors up and down the lineup. So this week we got Kennett, good ball club on Wednesday. Republic's coming to play them, and we play them at our place on Wednesday, and that'll be a good matchup. They're always talented and very well coached. And then we're in the Hollister tournament Friday. So we got William Chrisman and Summit Christian Academy on Friday at Raj. And then Saturday we go to Lee Summit, play Rockhurst at Lee Summit. So we're excited about the squad we got. We got a good mix of guys, seniors mixing with sophomores, and we're playing about 12 bats right now that are kind of alternating in and out. Another good one, Garrett Goff, is a local guy, Parkview transfer, who's been really good for us. Can kind of play all over the field. Other than that, I think on the mound is pretty much where all the new guys are. We got a lot of returners at the plate, and so we feel pretty happy with the group we got. We got to keep getting better, though. We got to execute better at the plate in certain situations, but we're pretty happy with what we've done on the mound. So now we got to build depth. So, our district is always really good too around here. Neosho moved into our district, so we got Republic and Kickapoo, Ozark. Probably gonna forget some, but Carthage. Who else am I forgetting? Central, yeah, and Joplin. So really good competitive district. So every game's important. We got to keep winning and getting better. So appreciate you guys having us. Thank you.
We'll keep things in the same district then and let Coach Plotner tell us about the 3 wins that Republic's gotten so far.
All right. Thank you guys for having us out. We're off to a 3-1 start. Played pretty good overall. We beat Hillcrest and Rolla, and then had probably the craziest game I've been associated with Rockbridge. We were down 10-0 in the 5th, about to get run ruled, and I told the guys, guys, we got to score if we want to keep playing. And we found a way to get 3 in the 5th to get it to 10-3. They got 2 in the bottom of the 6th. They had the winning run at third base to run rule us again. And I told my assistant, I said, we need to get this out. At this point, we're going to get beat probably. But our 2 guys that were supposed to hit the 7th have not been swinging the bat very well, and they're really good hitters. I said, they just need those at bats against a good arm. We were able to get an out. Sure enough, Gavin Beckner, our 3-year-old, comes up, doubles to left center. Trace Harrington follows with a triple to right center, and kind of just kept chipping away. And before you know it, it's 12-6, but there's 2 outs, bases loaded. And we end up getting it back around to Gavin again. We're still down, I guess 5 at that point. Bases loaded. They bring in a kid that's going to go to Tennessee, their shortstop, really good player. He walks Gavin, so we're down 12-8. Trace hits the ball. Next batter, it's probably a home run in any ballpark in Missouri except for Columbia Rockbridge. It's 410 feet straight into center field. He hit a ground rule double. So now we're at 12-10. Second, third, 2 outs, and Mason Mitchell comes up behind him, the junior that's been awesome for us so far, and singles up the middle, and we score 2 runs and tie the game at 12. And so now you've got to a point where you're expecting to get beat twice, and now you're tied, and you're like, well, we can't lose this game. And so we keep going, and in the top of the 9th, we got 6 runs to go up 18-12. And you just kind of had this feeling like this game is not over. Like, they're really good. And they ended up getting 3, get it to 18-15, and had the bases loaded with 2 outs. The winning run was at the plate, and fortunately we got a ground out to short to end the game, 18-15. So, quality win for our program for sure. Rockbridge is a top 10 team in the state. I think they'll be really competitive in the postseason. So, had a great win there. And then Wednesday, I guess it was, we moved some games around. We were able to play Rogersville on Wednesday. I know Courtney was talking about them a little bit. Guys, they're as good as advertised. They're phenomenal. They got 3 top of the rotation arms. We saw 2 of them. 1 through 9, they swing the bat as good as anybody in the area, and came out on the wrong end of that, 11-3. But we got a busy week. We're playing Willard tonight in just a non-conference game because we're all looking for games. So Scott and I decided we were going to play tonight. We go to Logan's Place Wednesday and play Kennett. And then this weekend we've got Liberty North, number 1 team in Class 6. We've got Liberty, I think they're top 5 in Class 6. We've got Lee Summit North and Webb City all in the red and blue tournament that the Springfield schools are hosting. So a really busy week for our kids with a lot of really quality opponents. So, the one thing I would say, and it's been echoed throughout this room, but baseball in Southwest Missouri right now is awesome. If you guys get a chance to get out and watch the games, there's some really high-level stuff going on. Rogersville, Glendale, Nixa, there's a lot of really good teams playing. So anyway, appreciate you guys having us, and see you next time.
Thanks.
Let's stay at the table to our left and get the update on New Covenant Academy from Coach Andrew.
Well, thank you guys so much for hosting us. We appreciate it. So I was driving over here just thinking like would have been a top out. I've never done anything like this before. And, I was thinking, so our seniors, if you count the pandemic year, I'm the 5th head coach they've had in 3 years. It's the pandemic year didn't count, and it's kind of been a program in turmoil. They fired the head coach last year more than halfway through, and I took over about 3.5 weeks in, and then the districts. You come in with that mentality of, all right, I'm just gonna keep pushing through, and let's get through the season positively. But then you realize these guys have been through a lot of trauma, a lot of stuff going on. So I'm really trying to mentally get them kind of back right on track, especially the upperclassmen, the seniors who have had, like I said, I'm the 5th head coach. And it's been a challenge so far. We're 2-2, so we've played really well, and then we played awful, like simultaneously, back to back. Actually, in a tournament over the weekend, we beat Skyline 7-1. Our kid threw a gem on the hill, and then we got loose to Miller. Good, solid, scrappy squad that we should have competed much better. We got to lose 10-4, and the kid on the mound just threw a ton of strikes, and apparently we don't know what to do with strikes, and so we struggled. But we're wildly inconsistent. A lot of that comes from the fact that we're experienced big time. I've got 2 senior arms, a senior and a junior arm that are going to compete anytime we're on the mound. They're on the mound, we're going to compete, and then when we really fall off the table as far as experience. I have 0 kids past them with any varsity experience on the hill. And with the limited JV schedule apparently that was played last year, they just don't have any experience. And that's where we're really going to struggle. So we're gonna have to find ways to win ball games when we're not relying on our two arms. One kid's going to Evangel next year, Gary Jackson, and the other kid's a junior, Connor McCarley, big strong kid who's just every time I see him throw, he gets better and better. So like I said, when those two guys are on the hill, we have a chance to compete with anyone on our schedule. But we have to find ways to win, and we have not been consistent in like your coach said, executing the things that you need to get done. It's a work in progress, and I think a lot of that is just the turmoil that the program's been in, the turmoil that they've been in. So, but their attitude's great. This year going in, they've kind of like, well, what coach has been saying, just chomping at the bit, can't wait to get out there and play, and get kind of bruised up a little bit, and they brush it off, they're ready to get back out and play again. So, I've been super happy with their attitude, their desire to get out and mix it up a little bit. Our schedule, let's see. So, like I said, we got beat by Stockton. Stockton's real solid. I think they're number 4 in Class 3, real solid squad. But then we go out and beat Skyline. That was a good win. Then they beat Stockton, so that made me feel better about it. Then we lose to Miller, and then we beat Humansville. I think it's a small Class 1 school. And then I feel like I'm missing a game. I'm sure I was there for it. So we're 2-2 right now, and then we have a good schedule coming up this week. We host Fairgrove today. And then we have Spokane. We're hosting them tomorrow. Fortunately, we don't have to travel too much. And then we on Thursday we have Hollister coming in, so we get to face them. So I'm obviously lining up my pitching the way it works, and those guys will always have a good quality opponent. We play a good solid Class 3-4 schedule as a Class 2 squad. So I'm glad to be out of Class 3. No offense to Catholic, but I'm glad that we're not hanging out with them anymore in that district. And our district looks pretty good. Class 2 got Purdy and Marionville. Like they've had some good success, and that's who I think they'll be the class of our district there. So I haven't really caught up too much with them this year. Obviously, it's early and schedules have been erratic. So, but I'm sure that they've got a lot going on. We also have Blue Eye and Spokane, kind of that corridor going from Springfield south, Galena, I want to say. So off the top of my head, I don't know everybody else, and I'm sorry if I didn't everybody out, but that's kind of where we are. I'm hoping that when I have this discussion in how many weeks from now, that it'll be our consistency has leveled out. We're playing a lot better, and I don't think we're going to go out and compete with some of those higher level teams right away, but I feel like we should be competitive for the most part as we go forward. So again, I appreciate you guys having me.
Thank you.
Last but not least, on the high school side, Coach Jim Julian's here to tell us what's going on with the Falcons and their first couple of weeks.
Thank you. Appreciate everybody for being here and everybody that took time out of their schedule to put this together for us. Like a lot of people, we only got 2 games in. I think, if Mother Nature would have cooperated, we were supposed to have 7 at this point. Still trying to find games, but we're 2-0. Got a 2-1 win over Mack County that Monday early in the season. Well pitched game on both sides. I think we scored in the second. They scored a single run in the third to tie it. And then we scored the 6th on a 2-out hit by Cam Stratton. And Carter Lewis doubled to lead that inning off. They blocked him the third. Couldn't get him in. I think a pop-up maybe. And then Cam got a base hit to score him. And then closed it in the 7th inning. But had 3 guys. Spencer Pottebaum started that game. Kind of early in the year, we were trying to get as many guys, some experience on the mound and in a game as possible. So we went with 3 guys that game. Spencer started. Drew Wedgeworth came in and threw 3 1/3 innings. And then Caleb Julian came in and closed it and got the final 2 outs to end that one. So pretty good win for us there to start the year. Then we were supposed to have 4 in the Wheeler leadoff tournament with 2 on that Thursday and 2 on Friday, but 5 inches of rain had other plans. So we got 1 game out of it with Grove, Oklahoma, moved that game up on that Friday. Ended up beating them 15-0 in 3 innings, which is a good thing. Yeah, it's a win, but we'd obviously like to play some more innings, and we had a plan going in to get several guys some innings on the mound and some things like that. But Caleb Julian started that one and went all 3 and ended it with a 15-0 run rule in the 3rd. We had 7 hits and took advantage of 10 walks in that game. So at the plate all the way up and down, did a good job of laying off bad pitches and getting in hitters' counts and kind of taking what the pitchers gave us and did a pretty good job at the plate, discipline-wise. We had 19 quality at bats in that game, according to Game Changer, which is 3 pitches after 2 strikes, 6+ pitch at bats, extra base hits, some things that go into that. So a pretty solid day at the plate, even though we only had 7 hits in the game, but still had pretty good plate discipline. Sebastian Norman was 2 for 3. Mark Cross was 2 for 3. Alex Rankin had 4 RBIs. Brooks Kettering had 3 RBIs. And then Caleb went all 3, allowed 2 hits and struck out 4, only walked 1. So pretty solid game for us, but the same thing. We were hoping to get more innings and more games, but nothing we can really do about that. But pretty busy week coming up. Tomorrow we host West Plains, who's a pretty solid team. They're much improved from the last couple of years. So we'll have our hands full with our first conference game there. Then travel to Kickapoo on Thursday. That's always a big one, obviously, and they're a solid team always and well coached. So that'll be a good game. And then we have our red and blue, which we host Liberty North and Belton on Friday. And then Liberty and Kearney on Saturday. So it's a good week for us. Hopefully we can get all those games in. Avoid, a lot can change between now and Friday. So hoping they're wrong on the forecast, but if not, we'll just try to adjust and see what happens there. But hopefully it's a busy week for us and should be tested and have some good baseball this week. Thank you.
Before we shift gears to the college coaches that are with us today, Coach Snodgrass, I know you got a message from Coach Nasby over at Drury.
Nasby's on his way to St. Louis on doing some recruiting. So he sent me a voice text of what's going on. So we'll see how this works.
We played Missouri S&T 4 times, but it was at the University of Maryville. Maryville had the bye in the conference. So we moved our games up to Maryville. Game 1, we had Cody Ball back. We thought had an injury, and Illinois Springfield ended up just being a cramp in the arm. So he pitched through. Into the 7th inning. Couldn't get the final out of the 7th inning. Gave up a 2-run home run, unfortunately. That ended up putting them up 1. So we go into Mason Majors, who's from our bullpen. It's 4-3 in the bottom of the 7th. He gets a big strikeout, gets us into the top of the 8th. Connor Bain then hits a home run. He's a freshman. He's played pretty much every day for us in center field. So we tie it up. We get a 0 in the bottom of the 8th on 2 strikeouts from Majors. And then in the 9th, we pinch hit Elmer, Max Elmer, prodigy of Coach Mike Snodgrass at Glendale, who's a senior. Pinch hit double. And Luke Fuller gets another pinch hit double to drive him in. That puts us up a run. And then Mason has a clean 9th inning to finish off 2 2/3 of relief heading to 5 strikeouts and doesn't allow a hit or a base runner. So Mason was great. We won that game 5-4. Second game, Mason Beach has been pitching really well. And so we gave him some runs early. We scored 2 in the second, 5 in the third. Capped off by Kellen Williamson, a transfer from Utah Valley, courtesy of Columbia College, Battle High School. Left-handed batter, bowls a 3-run home run. And then we go back to that with Wes Collins hitting one of the farthest balls I've ever seen over the 30-foot wall in left field. It's probably at least 475, I would think, but we found it about midfield on the football field, which is about 100 feet past the left field wall. So Wes got into that one.
You just have to get your phone shut.
Oh, my fault.
What?
We played Missouri S&T 4 times,
Uh-oh.
but it was at
Okay, well, we'll let that go. That's his own fault.
We'll just call that technical difficulty.
Yeah,
That's,
we'll let that go.
say that's all right. Coach Gutton couldn't be here either today. I believe the statement about recruiting was made, and of course they could use a little help right now. They're on the skids right now, lost their last 6, 3 games to nationally ranked East Carolina at their place, and then got swept in all 3 games at home this weekend by Evansville. Evansville hit 8 home runs on Saturday in a doubleheader. So they were very comfortable at Hansfield, unfortunately, this weekend. So, on to the next one. They get ORU tomorrow at 6:30. Better things in store for Bears baseball. But instead, we'll shift gears, talk about the boys for BBC. Let Coach Merriman tell us what's up next for them.
Thank you guys for putting us on and doing this. I don't know if we had leadoff club or not last year, but I wasn't invited and I was glad to not be invited if you did have it. Last year was the first year BBC had baseball since 1987. And it was a struggle. We were 9-45 this year, much better. We're 18-13. We're third in our conference. This past weekend, we swept Dallas Christian at home through 3 complete games and committed 0 errors in 4 games. Playing pretty well right now. We have a tough test this weekend. We go to Kansas Christian. Kansas Christian has good arms. They've got a kid from the Dominican Republic. It's 1993, and that's, if you guys aren't familiar with NAIA baseball, you see a lot of that. And they have a kid from the country of Colombia who's 93, 96. It's going to be a challenge for us. They're right behind us in the conference standings, but they're good. They play at the Kansas City Royals Urban Youth Complex right there by the Negro League Hall of Fame, which is really nice. I think Salvador Perez put a lot of money into that. It's a good facility. But we're fortunate to have a lot of games, again, 18-13, so we played a lot. Have 24 games remaining on our schedule, but big turnaround for the Patriots BBC this year.
And tell me a little bit about your conference. You mentioned one in Dallas and one in Kansas City.
Yeah, it's really kind of a conference of NCCA schools, so all Christian schools. Some are dual affiliated with the NAIA, and it's Arlington Baptist, Dallas Christian, Champion, which is in Hot Springs, Arkansas, Randall University is in Moore, Oklahoma, Ecclesia is in Springdale, College of the Ozarks, Baptist Bible College, and Kansas Christian. So it's really, really a good league, and I'm fortunate to be in that league. Starting a program from scratch, hard to find games, and so when you can get into a conference and get 28 of them scheduled, it's a big help. So we are able to play 55 games this year, go down to 50 like Tyler next year, but so we've got 24 games left, and I feel pretty good about the way our club's playing right now.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Last but not least, the head coach of the Valor here to talk about Evangel and their last run through the Heart of America Conference before they make a conference change.
Honor and privilege to be here. Thanks for including Evangel in it. So we're currently 19-11, and despite the crazy weather, we've gotten every single game played on our schedule. It's kind of been a back and forth between put the tarp on, keep all the water off the infield, but unfortunately all the water goes to the apron, so you're squeezing water off, vacuuming it, and everything else. So, and kind of the unfortunate consequence of that is our infield on a couple occasions, like the one day in a couple consecutive weeks that we had an opportunity to get on our field and practice. It's just rock hard from all the conditions we put on. We had 2 incidents where late hard hop came up and broke the right throwing and ring finger of 2 of our veteran middle infielders. So we're currently playing with a freshman shortstop who's a good ball player. Kid out of Phoenix, Arizona, but he's a freshman nonetheless, competing very well, but we're just not quite the same. And then at second base, we've got our very good athlete, but he's been our right fielder last couple of years, filling in there. Top 3 starter arm has had some elbow pain and went down, and then the other kid who broke the ring finger on his throwing hand is also a key bullpen arm for us. So great thing about baseball in general is that it presents you with a lot of adversity. Opportunities to deal with that adversity. We've I think had our fair share this year, but guys are handling it well, and we're competing well despite all of that. So started 15-3. I'll be the first to say that our non-conference schedule was not the toughest in the country, but it was the schedule we needed to prepare for our conference schedule. Our goal this year, we are attempting to improve our program, and the goal was to finish above 500 and to qualify for a conference tournament. 19-11 overall, so we've got the opportunity to do that for sure. But we're in the absolute gauntlet of our schedule right now. We open with Mount Mercy, who's the top team in the North, in the Heart right now, and then kind of had a disappointing home series against Mo Valley. Ended up splitting 2-2. Won a game 12-4 in the opener, and then lost 4-3. Their ace went against us and pitched kind of a gem. Game 3, the next day, we play a real sound game, win 8-0, and then turn around. We got a 2-0 lead early on, and just don't add, and end up losing 3-2. And that's kind of been our Achilles heel, is just not adding runs in those middle innings when we need to. And, kind of the same situation this weekend at Benedictine, the series where Benedictine we hosted last year, won 3 out of 4, played really well, and my idea of progress as a coach is, hey, let's go to their place and at least split, if not win the series. We felt like we were even capable of sweeping the series. So had our absolute due on the Hill game 1, Austinville, and we had a 7-3 lead. He was at 98 pitches. He's a guy who's aspiring for Pro Bowl opportunities. He got kind of something lined up with independent team in Sauget, Illinois. And actually, Cardinal Scout was there watching him on Saturday. Really likes his stuff. But with him having those aspirations, though, man, we want to go after 4 games this series. He's at 98. Let's cut him off. Sure, we can hold it. We got a 4-run lead, and we went hard single in the right field. Hank bounced it back to our pitcher they just didn't handle. Had the second base runner hung up. So it was actually a leadoff double, my mistake. Went to throw to second base. There's the umpire, tall umpire standing right in his throwing lane. So he's got to put it in his pocket. Then 2-hole, 3-run homer to get him to 7-6. We make a pitching change with a couple batters. They're a 4-hole hitter. It's a ball that hits the very top of the fence, bounces straight up, comes out, hits the top of the fence again, and then bounces over to make it 7-7. Our guys fought like crazy. Even through a medical incident where a kid on their team after a mound visit lays down and has issues, heart's all over the place, pulse is out of control. Ambulance comes on the field, it's like a 25-30 minute delay. But guy comes up big, we score 2 runs and hold on for the win 9-7. Game 2, we get out to a 3-run lead, and they're just dead. And just go to our bullpen because our really good 6'4" freshman lefty. He's got 98 pitches on 5 days rest. He's got to turn around this next week on 5 days rest. And bullpen just doesn't get it done again. We end up losing. They score 5, we bottom 6, we lose 5-3. I felt like our guys' mentality was good going the next day. Competed well. It was a cold day, wind blowing straight in, where you've got to execute good situational hitting. And they just did a better job hitting line drives and playing clean baseball. A couple key errors that cost us. They ended up losing a 4-1 game and then a 5-2 game on day 2 yesterday. So that put us at 4-8 in the conference. We're headed to Parkville, Missouri this weekend to play Park. We're looking to get right back in the thick of the conference run. We're playing a good weekend there. And then we got the big dogs in the conference, CMU and MNU, who have been to back-to-back World Series, respectively. CMU in 2021 and MNU last year. So we're going to attempt to show progress in the program by competing better against those guys than we have in the past and trying to get a game or 2 against them. Then we finish up going to Graceland and Lamont, Iowa, and then coming back hosting Baker for the final weekend. So I'm just proud of the direction that our program is heading and the way our guys are competing. We are, there's winning and there's learning, and we are learning what it takes to consistently compete well. And, college baseball is just so cutthroat right now. We are learning that you absolutely cannot take any plays off. You've got to mentally hook it up. And that's a tough thing in our conference format is you're playing 4 7-inning games. And so, 28 innings in a weekend, and it's sometimes tough after, especially if you go extra innings in game 1 and you're just duking it out. It's like, take a 20-minute breather and then hook it back up. So we're looking to improve that ability to be mentally and physically tough and more consistent. So thanks again for your time.
Tyler, I got a couple questions.
Yeah.
Does Benedictine still have that crazy field at the right field going up to?
They don't. They had that when I played there, but they've been at their current field for the last, I don't know,
For a while.
7-8 years, and they just got it completely turned. So it's actually really nice.
Their head coach is Eric Peterson.
Yeah.
Drury.
And to get into your conference tournament, what's that
Yeah.
take?
So the last few years, they cut it down from 10. COVID had something to do with that. Just I think universities wanting to save money, not wanting to send potentially 2 teams for a 1-game playoff. So they've limited it to 8 teams total. So we're in a 14-team conference currently. Like I said, it's split between North and South. The North consists of several Iowa schools and also Culver Stockton, and Peru State and Peru, Nebraska. And then in the South, there's M&U, CMU, Baker, Benedictine, Mo Valley, us, and Park. So you've got to be in the top 4 within that 17 division to qualify for the competition.
Once again, I want to thank everybody for coming out, and feature arranger will take care of the coaches' meals, and the administrators that are here. We appreciate it. Next week, same bat time, same bat channel, and coaches are always welcome. I just won't take care of your meals if you're not speaking. But you're always welcome, and we appreciate everybody coming. And again, thoughts and prayers for Art Haynes' continued recovery. So, anybody have any questions for me? And again, you go to Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, or Scoreboard Guy, all the baseball scores in there, and I'm still mailing to you the right coach.
You got it.
All right, guys. So, anything I can do for you guys, let me know. And there's still plenty of food out there.
Thank you. Appreciate it.